Welcome back. In this video, we're flying JetBlue in their even more economy cabin on an Airbus A321 from Washington, D.C. to San Juan, Puerto Rico. These seats offer more space, early boarding, and a few other perks. But is paying extra for even more really worth it? What does that extra fee really get you? And is it good value? So join us as we step on board, answer these questions, and explain their somewhat confusing booking process. Welcome to Travel at Random. We're Trevor and Ryan. This channel started out of a love of travel. We're here to share unbiased and self-funded trip reports, hotel and flight reviews, and travel advice. We hope we inspire your next getaway. Check out our playlist in the description and browse the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. You can also check out our channel memberships here and on Patreon for even more content. Thank you for watching. Now, let's get ready to board this flight. Welcome back to Washington Reagan National Airport, better known as National Airport or DCA. If you're a fan of the channel, you've probably seen this airport. But today, we're not flying Delta. We're heading to the Caribbean on JetBlue. JetBlue uses Terminal 2 at DCA. Their bag check is located about halfway down the terminal between Delta and American. Bag drop was quick and simple. We had prepaid for one check bag ahead of check-in. JetBlue charges more if you add a bag at the airport. This single check bag was $35. JetBlue has a daily nonstop from DCA to San Juan, Puerto Rico. This route is 1,566 miles and will take just over 3.5 hours. We haven't flown JetBlue in years, so we're looking forward to trying them out in their extra legroom economy seat. JetBlue is a bit of a hybrid between a full-service airline and a low-cost carrier, meaning the fare you pay is just a starting point before you add on seats, bags, etc. While they've had a bit of an identity crisis over the past few years, JetBlue is pretty much considered a low-cost carrier. But does it really deliver good value? In addition to their domestic and Caribbean network, JetBlue also flies a few select transatlantic routes on aircraft with their Mint business class product. JetBlue does not have a lounge at DCA. In fact, they recently opened their first lounge at their main hub at Terminal 5 at JFK called Blue House. They're opening a second lounge in Boston in summer of 2026. We stopped by the Amex Centurion Lounge this morning before our flight. We have access with our American Express Platinum card, and we reviewed this lounge in a head-to-head showdown with the Delta Sky Club. We'll link that video down in the description. After a quick lounge visit, it was time to head to the gate. JetBlue uses the C gates at DCA. Our flight today is boarding out of C28. Boarding started right on time. With my more space seat, I got to board in Group A. This is the first group after JetBlue's Mosaic Elite passengers. There was only one Mosaic Elite boarding today. They closed the aircraft door at 8:15, a full 15 minutes prior to departure. This was one of my complaints during the booking process. While JetBlue's website mentions early boarding with this fare, they don't clearly outline the boarding groups. You can search their website and find a list of boarding priority, but you must search for it. Part of this might also be our lack of familiarity with JetBlue's policies. Today, we're flying on an A321 in an all-economy configuration. The first 5 rows are even more space seats, and then the 2 exit rows are also even more space seats, for 42 in total. There are also 158 economy seats, all in a standard 3-3 layout. We quickly made it on board and I found my way to seat 2D, an aisle seat. We lucked out and ended up with an empty middle seat for this flight. This made things even more spacious. Even more is JetBlue's version of extra legroom economy. The seats are the same width but feature an additional 4+ inches of legroom. All seats are 17.7 inches wide and recline 3 inches. These even more rows have at least 37 inches of pitch, which is almost the same as domestic first-class cabins on traditional US carriers such as Delta, United, and American. The leg and knee room was very good. On this A321, rows 10 and 23 are exit rows and have unobstructed legroom. Although when I was booking, these seats weren't available to me as part of my Even More fare. The Even More seats are branded and feature an orange outline on the headrest. This orange branding also showed up on my bag tag at check-in. The seat is pretty comfortable. While a standard economy seat, it did feature an adjustable headrest. The padding was decent. One feature I really like is the water bottle or cup holder that's sewn into the back of the seat. This is nice. Here are the perks advertised when you upgrade to Even More: extra legroom, early boarding, dedicated overhead bin space, complimentary alcoholic drinks, premium snacks, and priority security. Although I didn't need priority security since I have clear and pre-check, and that was pretty quick today. We pushed back from the gate right on time and taxied out to the runway. Let's get up in the air, and I'll come back and I'll talk about the IFE and service on board. JetBlue was one of the pioneers of seatback screens on domestic flights, going back to when the airline first launched. On this A321, each seat has a 10.1-inch touchscreen, and each row has 2 sets of power outlets for 3 seats, including universal power outlets and USB-A ports. These current IFE screens on this aircraft are old. They appear to be the original screens on this 12-year-old Airbus. The touch was not very responsive and was quite laggy. There are remote control buttons in the armrest that work slightly better, although my elbow kept hitting the buttons and changing the screen accidentally. JetBlue offers live TV, movies, and TV shows. There was a decent selection on offer, but this IFE software makes it difficult to browse. One interesting observation: while JetBlue has screens at every seat, the flight attendants manually do the safety briefing. I can't remember the last time I saw this on an airplane with IFE screens. In-flight Wi-Fi is available for free. I was able to successfully connect shortly after takeoff, and the download speed was decent. The internet did support streaming content, but the service did stop once we were over the ocean. Shortly after takeoff, the flight attendants prepared for in-flight service. There was one drink and snack service on this 3.5-hour flight. Service started with beverages. On this morning flight, I opted for a cup of coffee. JetBlue serves Dunkin' brand coffee. Next, I was offered a couple of snacks. I went for the plantain chips. A few minutes later, the flight attendant also came around with the Even More Space seat offering a packaged cookie. It's a little bit odd that these just weren't handed out together. Coffee, tea, soft drinks are complimentary to all passengers. Alcohol is free in Even More Space seats and for sale in the rest of the cabin. JetBlue also has an extensive buy on board program with fresh food and snack boxes. They also sell blankets, pillows, and earbuds, which you can keep. Service was quick and efficient, but not overly outgoing. This flight crew seemed to be just going through the motions. After service, they pretty much stuck to the galley and conversed with each other for the rest of the flight. No refills or second drink service was offered on this flight. There are 4 lavatories on this A321. This one was at the front and was kept clean during the flight. It was a pretty standard Airbus lav. We were soon on our approach into San Juan. Overall, this was a decent flight. While the service was efficient, the crew wasn't overly outgoing. Earlier, I teased the booking process was a bit confusing, and I should explain. I booked this as a round trip with my return in JetBlue Mint to New York's JFK Airport. That review is already on the channel, so go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. When booking, I selected the Even More fare on this flight to San Juan. That fare included a reserved seat in the Even More rows, but it was not immediately clear if the reservation included a checked bag. When reading the bag fee page on JetBlue's website, it didn't appear I got a checked bag included. On the checkout page, and I did grab a screenshot, it told me 1 bag was included. However, once I got my email confirmation of my booking, a bag was not included. If you add a checked bag in advance prior to travel, the first bag is $35. If you wait until the airport, it's more. Bag fees also vary based on peak and off-peak travel dates. It makes sense that the seat would not include a bag, but JetBlue could make this clear during the booking process. I could also chalk this up to not flying them often, but let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you find their system confusing? Maybe it's just me. My fare on this segment was $268 before bag fees, and that included my Even More seat. JetBlue does have an Even More page on their website that features FAQs, and one of the questions relates to what is Even More. It used to be called Even More Space. So there's definitely some marketing or brand confusion going on, even for longtime JetBlue customers. So that's JetBlue in their Even More seats. Would I fly them again? Yes, if the flights were convenient and the fares were competitive. Was this good value? That's debatable. I compared JetBlue's round trip and economy on this route, and their fare was more than United's nonstop from Washington Dulles to San Juan. That is also a nonstop flight. On Delta, the fare was about the same, but Delta required a connection. What do you think about JetBlue? Are they your preferred airline? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Thank you for watching. On to the next adventure.